Welcome everyone to the South Russell Council meeting. Today is Monday, September 22nd, 2025. I ask everyone to rise, hand over their heart, and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Thank you. Fiscal officer will take the roll.
Here.
Here. Okay, we have minutes from the September 8th regular council meeting. Any changes or corrections in those minutes? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Canton, seconded by? Seconded by Porter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Minutes are approved. We're going to go to the mayor's report. We're going to go to our visitors. Our first visitor, I believe, came and left. That was Mike Roberto. So maybe he'll be on his way back. Our second visitor is Noel Howard. Mr. Howard, give us your name and address, and the floor is yours for the next 5 minutes.
Noel Howard, 201 Manor Road. I was here last year about the same time because of the prisoner of war missing in action day that was back this past time was on the 19th and 20th. And I was able to present a flag to South Russell Village at the time, one that should fly with the American flag as it does in many spots in the United States today. It flies on the Capitol, flies in the White House, flies in South Russell Village sometimes. I'd like to see it fly in South Russell Village, Mayor, every day. And I see no reason why it can't fly every day. If there's a reason why, I'd like to hear from it. Here's the new flag, in case the other one was worn out.
Thank you. We do have a flag policy that we have implemented years ago, and we rotate certain flags around. I don't recall the policy right now as far as BOW-MIA.
It's been approved by Congress. It's been approved by the president, especially. It's been approved now since back in 1990. And it flies downtown in Chagrin Falls. It flies in Burton Village. It flies on every post office. And it flew here until about 3 or 4 months ago. And for some reason, somebody took it down. Who took it down?
I don't know what it was, just in the normal replacement of our flags. I don't know there was no action by us.
It just
to take it
disappeared.
down.
And I thought it was going back up.
Okay.
And I kept looking at it every day when I would drive by, and it was never up. I'm a veteran. There are 60,000 names of people who never came back from Vietnam. I was in Vietnam twice. I lost a good friend of mine over there in 2000, really 1966. He and I met in Da Nang for a few days, and he was in the Air Force. A young man like myself. I was on an aircraft carrier, so I was in and out of the corridor. He was just maybe a year or two younger than I, an F-4 pilot, first lieutenant. He was shot down on a special mission in 2006. 40 years later, he was buried in Arlington with a nice, we all went and visited, but he only had one family member who was there to accept the flag. His older sister. Never had a chance to get married, raise his family, do what we've all done here. We live in the United States today because of people who should be recognized for the work they did, and this flag recognizes them. And I don't see any reason why it can't fly every day in South Russell Village with the American flag. Does anybody have any comments they'd like or questions for me?
I have a question, so either you could answer it, Mr. Howard, or Dennis is our flag expert. Can they fly on the same, can you do the
Yes.
American flag?
Absolutely, and the state of Ohio has approved the display of the POW MIA flag. It's recommended, and, quite frankly, I don't know why it disappeared.
So let's put it
I don't
there.
think it was in bad condition, but,
Well, I gave the flag to the county 4 years ago, when they were talked to me 4 years ago, they moved to the new, and that flag is still flying,
Right.
and it's in good shape. And it flies just underneath the American flag. Unfortunately, they didn't make the flagpole tall enough to handle it too well, but at least it flies. And when I gave them the flag, gentlemen and ladies, they accepted it and they will always fly it. It flies even downtown at the Eagles.
and to your point, for the longest time after you provided us with the flag, we displayed it. And
That's right.
I don't know the circumstances about how it disappeared.
Well,
I do know it flies by the cemetery.
There's the
Right,
flag flies at the cemetery up, it's always been there. Both cemeteries have the flag
We
flying.
do, and that's per our
Why
ordinance.
was it taken down from, it was only 2 or 3 months ago, it was taken down out front.
Don't know. Maybe it was
Who
something.
has the authority to put the flags up and take them down? Because you do put an attached staff for certain events.
Yes. I don't know why it was taken down and not put back up. I can find out. And we have a policy that we adhere to, and that policy talks about flying that particular flag that you have there, below the American flag. I think it was just, I don't know what happened, but we can find out.
And we could put it up.
This is a brand new flag,
Yes.
both sides, made in America. It will probably last as long as the one that's with the county.
It'll be put up tomorrow.
If I legal, can you put it up tomorrow?
Put it right on that counter there, and we'll put it up tomorrow.
I appreciate it, gentlemen, and ladies.
Would you like to stay or do you want to leave? To help you get out.
I can walk out, there's no problem, you don't have to use the elevator for going out. It was coming up here, and I apologize for being an old man.
I'm happy you live to be an old man.
Thank you.
Chief, you've got to keep an eye on it.
Here, certainly Chief Bristol here was very nice to come down, and Danielle over here was nice to arrange all this today. And thank you all for being here and listening to me, because I enjoyed living here in South Russell Village. I lived all over the United States, and we are so fortunate to be in Geauga County. And I hope it stays this way for the future. Tomorrow I'll be at the commissioners meeting too, and they're wonderful people also. But thank you so much, and for that, I can go home and go to bed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll see you again sometime if I have any questions or want to be part of the meeting here today.
Right.
Have a good one. I can see you on YouTube anytime also.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other of our visitors would like to speak to council? Dr. Collins, please give us your name and address. You get 5 minutes, and I'll let you know after 3 minutes that you got 2 minutes left.
You only need 1 minute. Tom Collins, I'm a 27-year resident of the village. I live on Fairfax, 50 Fairfax specifically. Thank you all for your service to the community. I'm here in support of the proposal of the Sugar Valley Fire Department in the renewal. And I know that the discussions that have occurred, talking about raising are always difficult things to digest. I just finished a 26-year tenure as medical director for Cleveland Fire, Cleveland EMS, and I certainly understand the struggles and pains of increasing costs. We had to give our paramedics a 22% raise to keep retention over the past year. The trucks that we have to buy, in Cleveland especially. So thank you for the streets here being so good. The Cleveland trucks really get beat up, and we spend a lot of money replacing them. So I know anytime you have to discuss increasing fees, it's difficult, but this is a huge investment. The department is especially dear to my heart. Before I went to medical school, I was a member, a paramedic, firefighter there. I was one of the founding paramedics for the ambulance service in Chagrin, and I'd love to see it continue to provide great service to our community. I'm done.
Questions of Dr. Collins?
Thank
Hearing
you.
none.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. All right, we are now at the mayor's report. 4 quick items. 2 weeks ago, I went to the Chagrin Valley Fire Department open house. They had the dedication of their new fire station. It is up and operational. This was an ongoing process, and they're very proud of what they've created. Last week, the Chagrin Valley Dispatch met. They're moving into one facility, consolidating from the 3 facilities into one. And they've had the addition of Strongsville, Brook Park, Middleburg Heights, and North Royalton have joined Chagrin Valley Dispatch. We had a meeting last Thursday, the Ohio Department of Transportation, a twofold meeting. One was on the path, and the other they brought up was on the Bell Road East. Pretty much told us at that time that we are not in the queue. So we're looking into this, and we'll handle further discussion of that in executive session. Although I can take some general comments now on the ODOT meeting. Again, we did the path and Bell Road East. Were both items. Danielle did an excellent summary. There were 10 people in the room, and it was a nice conversation. Well, we did also confirm that there's no change or no plans for the intersection. My concern was if we sculpture this intersection and landscape it, and then 2 years from now, ODOT said they're going to come in and put a turn lane in, it would change our plans. They do not have any plans for the intersection. Anybody's got any questions or about the path or the Bell Road East, please at this time, let's air them out.
Is this path still being talked about to be 5 feet wide?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not very wide.
No, so it's the size of a normal sidewalk.
I had occasion to go to a funeral in Sagamore Hills, and I did not take the freeway. I went Pettibone Road by Old Austin Powder, Glen Willow. They have both there, and I think it's been there. I just didn't note it when I was picking up something years ago there. There's a path. There's also in the road, it looks like it's about a 4-foot bicycle path on the south side of Pettibone with striping, with a bicycle painted on the road. So they've combined both. It might behoove some of us to just drive down that way. If you take Pettibone, get through Solon, and keep going, it's not very far. Probably takes 20 minutes or less just to look at it. But there's both right there.
There was one comment, Jerry, from the ODOT representatives that were in attendance at this meeting, and they did indicate that the 5-foot path suggested a pedestrian path, and generally speaking, the 5-foot path was not supposed to accommodate 2-way traffic, that there would be a complementary path on perhaps the other side of the road if the 5-foot path was a path that we took. And correct me if I'm wrong there, Danielle, that I think was a comment that was.
So it would double.
Well, it depends what you want. I mean, the thing about it is the onus is on the village, and there's a lot of design work that has to go forward from here that yet remains. It also, if you haven't seen Danielle's comments, all the engineering work is on the village. None of the grant entails engineering or ancillary type things. It is strictly covering construction costs.
And it's our responsibility to maintain it.
Yeah, and should there be any other things like a fancy fence or something that we want to put in or whatever, that cost is also borne by the village.
Now, does ODOT recommend that a 5-foot path is a pedestrian path, but can or cannot be used by any other, like a vehicle, a bicycle or strollers or,
I think that's where they were saying a 5-foot path is generally a pedestrian path, but if you were gonna allow bikes on it as well, then one side of the road would go one way, and then you'd have a complementary path on the other side where they would go the other way.
so we're making two paths?
Well, that's how generally speaking, if a 5-foot.
A 5-foot path goes.
Allows bicycles.
Okay,
whatever.
well,
And
if,
the meeting traffic, they indicated might be an issue on a 5-foot wide.
well, if we have a 5-foot path and bicycles or scooters or whatnot not allowed to operate on it, we know darn well it's going to happen. So how is that going to be enforced? That's not a question.
That was up to the village.
Right, I mean, we have ordinances right now that we could enforce if we had a sidewalk, right? So we'd be through the ordinances.
And we could permit bicycles on this 5-foot path if we wanted to. And if we don't bar them, then they're allowed, right?
I think we would be going against ODOT's suggestions though.
Well, I guarantee
But I
you,
think it's possible, I'm just telling you, I think we would be going against their suggestions, and I think that would probably be ill-advised.
and there's no question in my mind that somebody will ride a bicycle on it, and then it has to be enforced.
Correct.
Or you just allow bicycles and strollers and whatnot on this 5-foot path. But my question is, I guess, more immediate. Did ODOT tell us, and will it put in writing, that this 5-foot path is okay for the grant purpose?
Yes.
That's what I want to know.
A lot of ODOT had to be caged on the fact that they have not seen any design or any details for the path. So until we present ODOT, which I think we're taking action to engage the engineering services for the next phase of design, they cannot say yay or nay to anything because basically we have a concept of a path right now. We don't.
So how much are the engineering services going to cost to get us to the point where ODOT will give us a thumbs up or thumbs down?
Well, not only that, but there's an issue of right-of-way. And the right-of-way has to be clear before they will even start the process, so.
Okay, well, when we left this issue last, we weren't even sure which side of the street we were going to be on in terms of right-of-ways.
Nor are we now.
So, this body voted to approve going forward with the next step, although I note that it did not vote to add additional funds to the project for engineering work, which I understand will now be required because they have expended the original $15,000 that was provided. So,
We're reading a work authorization for them to give us an estimate how much it'll cost to do this next.
okay, so we can't move forward until we approve funding to the engineering firm, and they can't move forward to tell us which side of the road it's going to be on. I assume that we do not have an appetite for putting a 5-foot path on both the north and south side of the street.
I don't have an appetite for that.
That would double the expenses.
Are you talking about the path on the north, from Spring Drive,
Mhm.
crosses Bell to the park, down the park, crosses back at Alderwood to the north side, then east to Gurney?
No, I was speaking in terms of each path being a single direction, that there would be a north, for instance, a north of the street path that would be from west to east, and a south side of the street path that would be from east to west,
Okay, so.
which is what ODOT is suggesting with a 5-foot path is the appropriate process.
All right, so we need something from the engineer, cost estimate, were to approve that, if we were so inclined, to go forward with the engineering that will result in drawings that will specify a path. But correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't the engineer interested in knowing where the path was supposed to go?
Yes, yes.
And I don't think we voted on that. I don't think we provided that direction. So, I mean, we can approve the money for the engineer to do the drawings, but he has to know where's the path going to go in order to do the drawings.
Well, part of it may be the engineering firm's evaluation of the topography and the ability on either side of the road. So the other side of it is, you know, we could make the path wider. But
As opposed to doing double.
as opposed to doing double.
Well,
So-
double would be in the future. I mean, let's say the path goes in on the north side, the way the committee's been talking. And then 20 years from now, another council decides, we're gonna put a path in on the other side. They certainly could, I suppose, but the upshot to me is, we haven't decided where the path is going to go as a council. So to tell the engineer, hey, give us a drawing estimate,
I think the committee, if I recall, has asked for it to be on one side after speaking with the chief for safety reasons. I don't think they have a preference for north or south. We just came out of the meeting saying south looks like it might work better. That being said, I don't think anybody, the committee or us, can make any decisions until the engineer looks, like Dennis pointed out, the topography and all the other factors in this. We can't even choose a side, let alone talk about
Because
multiple paths.
there's utility, there's signs, there's ditches, there's so much that are involved in making a free and clear right of way that we can't even capture the actual expense at this stage.
So we need that estimate from the engineer immediately, what their costs may be
or the drawings.
for the drawings.
Okay, so if I can summarize here. We've spent a little under 15,000.
Well, we're at
We're over now after we had last Thursday. So we're going to need a bid, an estimate from the engineer to continue to fund their work. That's what we're going to have to go for now, is to get the engineer to decide. Then we're going to have to work with the committee and the engineers to determine what's best. I'll be very frank with you. At the ODOT meeting, their advice was that we, the village, if we're going to put a path in the park, go ahead and do that. Put it on your dime, put it where you want it, because you're not going to have to deal with the property owners, you're not going to have to deal with environmental issues. So we could easily put a 5-foot path from the park to Spring, on the south side to Spring Drive. Now, as we're going on the north, I am strong and I will, I guess I can't see anything else that we would do anything but a path from Alderwood to the gas station on the north side. You avoid the cemetery. The people on the south side of Bell are below Bell. So you're looking at, you know, they're down. You're also looking at 6 people on the north side of Bell. 3 of them are very high. They won't even see the path. We've also spoken to them at length. We have no opposition from the 6 people on the north side of Bell. And you run the path from Alderwood. We don't have any opposition from the people.
On the north side?
Yes.
This was here a couple weeks ago.
He means
Oh, those are
From
the
Gurney.
people that live.
Right there.
Yes, those are the people that live across from the park. It's like, yeah, you put
They're on the north side.
yeah, okay, but we're going to put the path in the park. We're not putting it in their yards. So we haven't had any opposition from anyone who's going to have the path in their front yard. And we've courted them and we've done our due diligence.
And I think the problem with that, not the problem, the roadblock, that people are seeing with taking it down there, crossing at the park was a safety issue. I've had people forcing pedestrians to cross the road rather than just stay on the path the whole way. If they still have to choose, if they choose, they have to cross across one, cool. Otherwise, if they want to use the path back and forth, they stay on the path without having to cross back.
Yeah. So you could go from the gas station. Frankly, he's got a grassy lot That's where the path would end. You could go straight down to Alderwood. There's a crosswalk, you arrive at the park.
On the north side.
I have yet to been convinced anything on the south side is better than the north side. I had a long discussion with the co-chairs. They still think the south side's best, so we're gonna have the engineers, if we approve money for them to continue, then the engineers are gonna look at it and say, this is what it's gonna be, and this is why. But I just wanna make sure you know my opinion, that, gas station to Alderwood, that's the path. It's 5 feet wide, and the way you can look at it is if you had your shoulder next to the telephone poles, you have 5 feet of asphalt, you have 10 feet of grass or a ditch preferably, and then you have the side of the road. So you have to actually have kind of like a 10-foot buffer. And it just goes from, as I said, and as for people using the path, anyone would be crazy to ride up in front of the cemetery when the cars are going 35 or more miles an hour, when they can ride on the path from Alderwood up to Gurney. And frankly, that's where I would be on my bicycle, because I'm not, if I can be on a path, it's got a 10-foot buffer, or I can be next to the cars going 35 miles an hour, that'd be nuts to stay on that side. So you're never going to see your spandex bikers on the path. The only other thing we did discuss, or two things came up. The person from the WACA said walking is transportation, so that's why this path has no issue with funding. The other thing came up is we actually talked about the path in the park, say if it goes from the sign to Spring Drive, could we use paved concrete, something like that. So we've done some thoughts and different things. So that's where we are. I don't know when Chris, I can't remember when the next path meeting is coming up.
It is.
But yeah, we got to get money to
30th.
for Dantas, and then Dantas is going to give us a recommendation. I mean, they were there, they had their maps, they were ready to talk about the path, but we're right where we should be right now. Yes, are we going to move on? Or we're going to stop.
So, Verdant can be told to make drawings and easement right-of-way things based on a path that is partially on the south side and partially on the north side.
No, I would not do anything on the south side. The path in the park
Is on the south side.
street, yeah, we could do that anytime we want. In
But
fact,
that also brings up, we'd be paying more, we'd be paying out of pocket for
we
that.
would pay out of pocket if we put a 5-foot path in our park. We don't need a path in the park. People can walk. They can get on the side of the, there's plenty of room to walk in the park. That would just be extra. So it's simply, you're gonna look at a path from Alderwood to the gas station. In my opinion.
Chris Bell, what time is that path meeting on September
It
30th?
is 8 a.m., September 30th, here at the hall.
Another couple things, just so you're aware, at that meeting, the bike path is not currently, so I asked WACA how this money gets allocated, right? So they explained that they look at the whole region and determine how to connect communities. So they really wanted to do the Bell East paving, so they looked and thought a trail would be good to add it in because you would eventually get connectability, walking connectability for different communities. So they gave us the grant for both, but they are also being pressured by the state because they get grant funding and they've allocated it to communities, but now we're not progressing to get it done. So I said, we knew we were going to do the paving on Bell East. We didn't know no one ever talked about trails, so we got this money, and you're saying we have to do it in 26. It's a long process to get there. So they realized that their process may be a little flawed, and they're trying to sharpen their pencils on that. But they said, the way it looks now, that project will be pushed to 27 because their 26 year ends June 30th of 26, and then their next calendar year starts July 1st. So they said they would push it to 27, most likely, but they said that's still a lot of work to get done in order to get this project done in their 27 calendar year, and most likely it would get pushed to 28. So just from that perspective, I thought you should know that. Now their 28 would start in July 1st of 27, and be completed by June 30th of 29.
Daniel, I'm sorry, you're talking about the path?
That's for the path.
paving.
For the
That's for the
Okay,
path.
thank you.
So that money, they let us know we have it, we haven't done anything to secure it, so it hasn't been assigned a number, it's not in their system, it's not in the queue. The paving project has been assigned a number, we've done enough work that we've gotten that far, but there's still work that we have to get done to get it done in the
Next year.
26 schedule. So, there's some issues with that. The other thing we found out, which we weren't aware of, I don't know what the solicitor was that we have to have a third party manage the project. So that's another cost that I wasn't anticipating, so
A third party for bike path or
for
for,
both, because they have no they have federal grant funds in them. So our engineer designs the project, so he cannot manage the project. We have to have an independent third party, and there is a whole process through ODOT rules that you have to follow for the bidding and follow their process. Another thing I recalled in that meeting was when we had Bell West done, I remember the costs were significantly higher than what we thought, because you also have to pay ODOT to do the administration for your project. So those were costs that weren't anticipated at the time. So in addition to the cost of the project, there's also going to be costs for ODOT to do the administration, and there will be costs for a third party to manage the project.
I was also surprised that their concern of spend the money.
Right.
That they were really honest to spend the money. They're under pressure from the Department of Transportation to spend the money. They don't like seeing things in progress. So they were like, so we asked them about for the next grant. They said, you should apply for the next grant yesterday. One of those things you could go on. I think the only thing realistic with the trail is if we may have a ribbon cutting ceremony in July of 2027 where we could actually start. But again, if we wanted to do anything in the park, we could start on that tomorrow. I think everything else you pretty well summarized.
And because the park, the reason they suggested doing that in-house if we want to do that was then you don't have to follow the environmental rules. So with the federal funding, there's the environmental stuff, so you could do that because there's really nothing to it, and then you could make the path along Bell longer to the gas station, because you'd be saving on the other end.
So about an eighth of a mile, about 8/10 of a mile of this path, we're talking about doing it essentially in-house on the south part of the park of Bell Road, adjoining the park. And the federal money, state money, would be from Alderwood to the gas station. Do we have any notion what that cost along the park would be? And if we don't, perhaps we should, because that means our residents are paying right out of pocket for that. It's not we're getting a grant, this is great. This is out of our pocket.
We've gotten along without a path in the park for 19 years.
Yes.
So I think we want to keep it down to just what you said. Path from Alderwood to the gas station. Just keep it simple. Alderwood to the gas station. Anything else on the ODOT meeting?
Just one follow-up.
Sure.
So Alderwood to the gas station, I understand, but you're talking about not doing anything west of Alderwood?
I would not muddy the issue to say, hey, we've gotten by 19 years with people getting access to the park. No one has ever said, we need a path in the park.
Well, the whole idea of the park side path was to avoid the 6 houses or so on the north side of the of Bell that were, correct me if I'm wrong, they didn't want that path in front of their house.
Correct.
Okay, so we're putting it on the south side to avoid that, but we may have opposition further to the east that hasn't yet surfaced, although there aren't that many houses.
The park was also to connect country estates.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the park. There are paths in the park. right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now,
They're grass.
the way they are cut. So are you suggesting that the path on the south side of Bell, as part of the park, could be cut to match the paths, how they're cut? So people would know that's where they walk.
No, we mow that anyway. It's all mowed. Between the ditch and the trees is, if you wanted a path, that would be the place to put a path. Between the ditch and the trees, you could run a path from the park to basically the old Muggleton property. But I would not mess with that now because there's no demand for it. We've gotten by 19 years without it, and it just muddies the issue,
So individuals will just walk on the grass.
like they've been doing for
Yeah.
19 years. Yes.
We've had no path for 122 years.
Yeah.
So that's, the argument doesn't work for me.
I'm wondering, I mean, the whole idea here was kids walk to school, right?
Yeah.
And people bike here and there, and people with strollers and all this have a safer place to be. From Alderwood to the gas station, how many kids does that serve?
How many people does that
How
serve?
many people? That's probably easier.
I would say that anybody you see on Bell Road is probably going to be on the path from the gas station, at least to Alderwood, and then they cross over, they get to the park. I don't know how many. I know, again, I mentioned, they're not going to be biking to Kearney because it's not allowed.
Maybe if the committee could make a recommendation about a path, that would be helpful.
in the park as well.
Wherever it is,
Okay.
okay? If the committee could make a recommendation, we could then
Their
consider it.
last recommendation was the south side, from Chagrin Lakes down to Country Estates. That was their last recommendation, but with a caveat, with their most important thing is just to get people off the road. That's the thing we're most intrigued about. So if it has to be on the north side, they're okay with it, and they agree that maybe keeping it on one side is best for safety in general, rather than having people cross the road. They want to get to the end result of getting people off the road. How we do it, they're open. But since they were asked for a suggestion last time, they came back with the south side. We talked about putting the retaining wall back in the cemetery to give more room. How our engineer gets us there, I think the committee will be good.
Okay, so maybe we should vote at some point on the path. That it be on the south side, that it go from where basically Spring Drive on the south side of Bell, all the way up to our quarter acre here, and be done with it.
You don't want to do that. You do what Dennis said. You let your engineers say this is where it should go.
But I remember the engineer sitting there and telling us, he needs someone to tell him where the path is.
I guess I would say come next Tuesday morning, make your opinion. I've given them my opinion.
Can I just remind council, you did make a motion at the last council meeting to have Verdantis to start filling out the necessary scoping documentation. And the path was 4-foot wide pedestrian pathway from 306 to Spring with different crosswalks. My point is, if it's Elderwood now, if that's, I'm just asking if council's deciding to change that motion, because if so, you might want to let Verdantis know so they're not scoping this for something you do not want.
Well, we didn't tell him which side.
No, you didn't, but again, Spring, now I'm hearing Alderwood, is an Alderwood a little
Well,
bit
the mayor's
closer?
suggesting Alderwood.
Sure, I'm asking if you're going to make any changes to what you've already moved forward with, you just want to make sure Verdantis hasn't already started filling out that scoping documentation.
I would leave it as is and see what they come up with.
Yes.
And maybe they give us both a pass, north and south.
We don't have to go forward with anything until we see it. So we're not locked in by asking them to decide.
Understood, but this has been rolling
Oh, I
around
get
for
it.
so long.
Yep.
And we haven't decided officially on where's the path going to be. So you can tell homeowner A, it's gonna be in your front yard, the guy across the street, no, it won't be in yours.
We're right where we should be. That's 15,000, we have a preliminary. You voted to go through the scoping, we had our next step. We had our meeting with ODOT. Now the engineer's gonna look at what is best. It's not for us, we're not engineers, we can't decide. It belongs on the south side, it belongs on the north side. They're gonna come and tell us what's best.
Mayor, you've been talking about ribbon cutting next year,
No, 2 summers from now.
okay? Now it's the year after that.
Mhm.
Okay, so we've seen, and we're getting pressure, I suppose, to spend the money. Well,
Mhm.
okay, that's all well and good, but where's the path going to go? I mean, I don't want to be ridiculous about this, but
Just realize that, spending the money per se.
yeah, well,
The money in the grant can't be spent until construction starts. So all the money we're gonna spend preliminary to that is gonna be borne by the citizens.
yes,
So right now, then, do we need a motion to spend another $15,000?
We don't have the work
We don't have the
We
work.
don't have to work out the
We don't know how much
So wait on that. All right, I advise you all, next Tuesday at 8:30 to be here.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock? Okay, Tuesday at 8 o'clock.
Go ahead,
Um,
Mr.
If it
Mayor.
make you feel any better, I will not be here at that time, so it may make people happy.
Mr. Mayor, did you want to expand upon the Bell Road East engineer's role at this time? Or do you want to wait for the streets report? Maybe.
No, I think it's been pretty well determined that we are not in the queue for Bell Road East at this time. My conversation with Eric this morning is that we'll know by the end of this week if they are in the queue, and I think everything else should be handled in executive session at this point.
We can't, because it's not official.
Okay. Next, from the frying pan to the fire, I went to Russell Township. Spoke to them last Thursday evening about fire contract. I told them I was very conflicted because I did not want to be there, but council had passed a motion, and I decided I didn't want to end up like the mayor of Cleveland Heights to get recalled,
Maybe they want to-
Pepper Pike to be beaten up on the ballot issue. You have in front of you the revised, thank you solicitor, I think it's perfect now, the revised contract from Grid Valley Fire Department. That's too many out, I don't have one for myself.
Here, you can have
it. This is the contract.
So is this different than Chagrin
They
Falls Fire?
provide every 3 years. I advise you to take a look at it. It's the only thing, solicitor, I don't want to speak for you, but basically the editorial changes that you
Right. They had still included the one-time donation in this contract that we had made, if you recall, to okay, so anyway, that was still included in the contract, which we are not doing. It's okay, it's just that kind of silly stuff.
No, but I sent it to them and said, take it out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. But anyhow, can you give a specific location of that issue?
So is this the revised one? the
This
one
is
that-
revised.
So
what
like
I
the
got.
clean version accepting the
This is
changes?
a clean version. It should not be here if it is.
Correct, so I'm not sure where it was, but I want to say it was in, it was actually in the end, like, schedule where it
Oh.
had, and then it was also in the wording, in the actual.
Page 5, item 13. That was when they were doing their capital improvement. That should have come out, right? I thought I told them to take it out.
Okay. I haven't seen the new one, I just know,
No, this is the new one.
okay,
This should be, this is the one Frank agreed to.
I
Okay.
haven't seen that, I just saw the one that they originally sent, and I made, suggested changes, so I'll go
I
back.
thought I had this change all taken care of.
Okay. I will just have to do a comparison version of this with my,
Okay. I think the first change you had was just capitalizing the word association,
well, yeah, because it's a defined term, right?
Yes.
So, okay.
and there was a change on, about when they were doing their capital improvement, that was coming out of page 5, number 13. And there
Okay,
was another sentence.
I do have a question about 13 for the solicitor, okay? So
Which
the first sentence there. So if we sign a 3-year contract with them, and after a year, we find a better place to go, we can end this contract.
So, and I apologize, I didn't know that we'd be talking about this contract tonight. So we have to give 90 days notice in order to terminate.
Without any negative repercussions,
Well,
having to pay the full contract for 3 years, we can just leave the contract.
says the association.
It does say we need to state with
State
particularity
with particularity.
why we are.
Which is fine, but it doesn't say that they get a chance to, say, deny it or
Cure it.
to cure it or anything like that. But yeah, so you have to give 90 days written notice. And that's correct. So, yes, we can get out, but we have to give 90 days advance written notice. So we have to know 3 months in advance.
Okay, I don't understand the last, I guess, full phrase of that paragraph.
What page?
Page 5, section 13, first paragraph.
Yeah, that
Yes.
was
The
supposed to
association
come out.
agrees to reimburse the village its payment to, yeah, but that doesn't make, I mean,
No,
I'll
and I-
take it, but it doesn't make any sense.
Right, and I'm pretty sure, I mean, I'll have to look again to see, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, that was supposed to have come out. Because
Okay.
that has to do with the previous contract.
Right. So
Yes.
back to,
Yes.
okay.
It's actually highlighted on my draft for
Yes,
Mr.
and I thought I told them to take it out also. I mean, this is beyond, this is capital improvements.
Right,
It's
correct.
in their interest to take it out.
No, of course.
Right? Otherwise, frivolous contribution, we could go back and, oh, that money we gave you back when,
Yeah. We
we
want that $79,000 back, thank you very much.
Right. Another-
Okay,
Okay, so,
so that's the contract, fire service for the next 3 years.
so can you, Mr. Mayor, can you go back and can we finish the conversation about your meeting last Thursday night?
Yes, with Russell Township.
Yep.
We talked about the 2013, when we asked them to go through, do this process again. We talked about the 5 other communities. Basically, I did most of the talking. When I left, one of the trustees said, you know, why don't you come back and talk to us in January? One of the trustees said, you know, you did this in 2013, and his comments were, and you kind of patted us on the head and went with chagrin. The other trustee, I think, would be willing to talk about the situation. I told him frankly that I did not want to be there. I did not think it was right to desert, in my opinion, the other 5 communities in the Chagrin Valley Fire Department. This is the 33rd month of a 36-month contract, and I felt we just don't do that to our colleagues. We work together. I mentioned that, you know, Russell Township, without Russell, we would not have a trash day. I didn't want to disrespect them by coming in and ask for a bid. And that's pretty much the whole conversation.
I have more I would like to say about this, but I'll wait till financials.
Okay, so did you ask Russell to make a proposal to
Yes.
South Russell for fire and EMS?
I was here to ask them if they would like to make a proposal, and I would say they're not interested at this time,
Well,
in my opinion.
Apparently, they were confused because they didn't feel you asked for a proposal. Because my understanding is they were prepared to respond to a proposal that wasn't asked for.
I don't know.
I was
how-
not at the meeting, so, but I can only tell you what was told me.
Mayor, did they ever respond to your email?
Christina Port did, yes.
Did she give you a proposal?
No.
Okay.
Just that you wanted to talk in the next few weeks, and she would be willing to talk. No, I don't know, Chris, what more I can say? I'm here to talk about this contract.
So, Lawyer, we wanted the answer to 3 questions.
Mhm.
And
We had that in writing.
they had that in writing. As I recall, you forwarded me the email that was in writing with. And I'll wait until Jerry does his report, and then I'll add a few comments then. But Chris, if you want to continue, well,
Frankly, I don't know what else needs to be said. I think it's evidently clear that we have an obligation to our residents to do what is in their best interests. That's what we've been elected for. An 80% increase in the cost of this service over the next 3 years is far beyond the scope of reasonableness. I have asked for alternatives. I have asked the mayor for a 1-year contract at 12% to be presented to Chagrin Valley Fire Department and have received no response to that suggestion. It's clear where the mayor thinks we should be. And I think that we have done a disservice to our residents by not seeking alternatives. I'm not saying that we will go with an alternative, but we should know what our options are. And we should have known that starting in July. And we're almost to October and we haven't done our job. It's that simple.
I would say on August the 13th, the 6 municipalities sat with the Chagrin Valley Fire Department and agreed that we would accept 12, 12, 12. 4 South Russell council members were in the room. If you want, I'll leave it at that.
If I recall, the representative from Chagrin Falls Township had quite a good argument why it shouldn't be 12, 12, 12. He must have talked for at least 20 minutes. And finally, it was distilled down to those who were representing the locales agreed that they could live with 12, 12, and 12. But as we all know, council has to vote on it. So there's no deal right now.
Correct. All right, we're still in the mayor's report. The questions of the mayor. Hearing none, fiscal officer.
I just wanted you to know regarding the Hemlock project, we did get the bid documents today, so if anybody wants to see them, 2-inch binder, you're welcome to it. In there, it was noted that the bid opening for that project is October 3rd at noon at Village Hall. And then the second thing I was going to ask if we can get a motion to approve December 5th for the Village Hall holiday luncheon at Augie's.
I would make a motion that we approve December 5th, 2025 for the village holiday luncheon at Augie's. So moved.
second. What time?
All those in favor
At
say aye.
noon?
Thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Danielle, can we go, okay, so that's December the 5th at noon at August. Okay? And then there was there's a meeting on October the 3rd.
October 3rd, the bid opening for Hemlock Culvert project.
That's good as well, Daniel.
This one?
No.
Yes.
I see.
And we'll sunshine that as a, utilities committee meeting.
Yep.
Okay, anything, any comments for the fiscal officer, questions of the fiscal officer? Hearing none, finance committee.
Okay, thank you very much, Mayor. Finance Committee met on September 12th, 2025, and we found the minutes in our electronic packet. Any questions? The first of two waves of checks were signed on the 15th of September and cross-checked. Next meeting of finance will be at 3:15 on October 24th at the hall. As reported by our financial officer, Huntington checking, we have $951,481.04. Start Ohio, $2,709,479.89. And US Bank, $1,083,479.58 for a total of $4,744,722.51. Now, I will temporarily at this time yield the floor to Mr. Porter. Any questions? Comments to you?
Yes, I'd like to offer a few. Looking over the finances, the village is doing pretty well right now. That, of course, can change. The big thing on my mind is the fire and EMS contract at this point, because as the mayor has stated, and Councilman Berger has stated, it's a 12, 12, and 12 increase. So next year, we're paying $620,000. The year after, it goes up to over $700,000 and then $800,000. And $800,000, that's a big bite out of our budgets. It doubles the cost of fire and EMS. And I think it's well within the purview of this government and mayor to look for alternatives. This is a doubling of the cost in 3 years. And as such, there may be alternatives. And I understand loyalty. We've been with them for a really long time. They provide excellent service. Question is, can Russell provide as good or better service? Which is why we wanted the three questions answered. How long would it take them to respond to a emergency or a fire at the end of Champion Lane? And on the other side, on the other side of things, on Daisy Lane. That's what we wanted to know. And what would it cost us? Just throwing them out here, and this in no way was indicated to me in any way, shape, or form. Let's say that Russell proposes $300,000 per year. Instead of the $620 we're paying, the $7-something we're paying, and the $8-something we're paying. That is $2 million paid to Chagrin Fire. Let's say Russell comes and says it'll be $300,000 a year for 3 years. Just assume for a moment. That's $900,000. The differential is $1.1 million. That's another bike path. That's Bell Road East paved. That's Bell Road West paved. Altered savings from that EMS contract. If my bank said, hey, I'm gonna double your mortgage, I'd be thanking you, and I'd be calling every other single bank in America to see if I could get a better deal. The point is, I think we needed to be able to say to our constituents, we looked around and Chagrin was the best available for the price. Can anybody up here say that for sure right now? I can't. People in the audience may have differing opinions, but I'd like to know if there's an alternative. Let's say Russell says, no, your price is $700,000, and our response rate will not be as good. Well, okay, now we know. But at this point, we don't. And quite frankly, I'm disappointed we don't have some kind of answers to our 3 questions in hand, because I don't think they were that difficult. And quite frankly, 2 of them could be answered by reference to the 2013 proposal, which I think was in there. How long would it take you to respond to the far ends of our village? Be that as it may there, I think we owe it to our constituents to see if there's an alternative and not just go out of a sense of loyalty to Chagrin. I yield the floor, Jerry.
Thank you. If I may continue, our contract with Chagrin Valley ends at the end of December. At that time, we will have paid them $1,525,171.30. This new contract they would like us to sign, which is 12, 12, and 12, increase each year, compounded and not factoring in the ambulance billing rebate and the dispatch costs, will be $2,040,947.23. That's a difference of $515,755.93. Now, this is where people get upset with government, okay? They like to compare business with government. I made this comment once before, and I shall once again. I have been in business and I have been in academia, okay? And when businesses can't make their budget, they either increase the price of their product or they lay people off. Same way with academia. If they can't reach their budget, they usually fly
That's what they do.
wait a minute, a levy, and if the levy fails, they lay people off. Now, I have tasted the bitter pill. In business and in academia, I've been laid off, both academia and business, with a young family, and it's not good. I understand that without doubt, but that's the difference between government and business. Business balances their budget, government just spends and spends some more. So I believe that a 1-year contract with Chagrin Valley would be something to look at. That will give them time to sharpen their pencils and come up with a realistic budget proposal and give us time to seek another fire department. And with that, I yield the floor.
I would just add one thing. It's late September. We have 3 months until the end of the current contract. I would like to get answers to the questions that were asked before the next council meeting. And if the answers are along the lines of what the mayor's thinking, that's fine. If they're different, that's fine too, but at least we would know. So, I would like to attend the next Russell Township trustee meeting and inquire about the 3 questions we asked on behalf of council.
And one more thing, the people that are watching us, we need to hear from you. How many times do I hear, well, I didn't know this, or I didn't know that, I wasn't informed, I didn't get a phone call. Well, this has been out in the paper. We've been talking about this. Come to our meetings, email us, our email addresses are online. Please, I would like to hear from the constituents. We work for you, it's your money. It's not my money, it's your money.
I would remind council to also consider the fact that with Chagrin, we are compelled to use CVD for dispatch at a cost. And that with Russell, we would be dispatched by Geauga at 0 cost. The difference is about $60,000 a year or $180,000 over the 3-year contract.
And isn't it true that if we would go with Russell and they need aid, Bainbridge and Chagrin Falls and Newberry would come and help, is that correct?
Yes.
You know,
Okay.
I would also say with the ambulance billing, the way the the proposed contract with Chagrin is written, they keep a larger chunk and we lose revenue. Is that correct, Danielle?
1/3 a year, so on the first year we'll lose 1/3, the next year 2/3, and the third year we don't get any more.
What will that cost us year by year approximately?
Well, last year we got 135,000, so they would get all.
All right, so 135,000 divided by 3, so it's like 45,000 approximately would be less this year, or 26, 90,000 in the full amount. So in addition to whatever the charge would be from Russell, one would perhaps deduct the 60,000 for dispatch and 45,000 for ambulance billing. Mayor, I really think we should find out.
Okay,
Although I'm precluded from discussing in depth or any issues about the fire department because my daughter is employed by Chagrin Valley Fire Department. You know, I will have to say though, to your call from the public, there were many people who were going to attend tonight's council meeting to talk in support of the proposal, but they were waved off because they were informed that an agreement had been made. So people are willing to come forward and voice their opinions, but we have to be transparent with the people.
And if I may add, if the people of South Russell say, you know what, we really like Chagrin Valley, and they're our neighbors and they're our friends, and they do a great job, and they do, no question about that, sign the contract. If they're willing to pay for it, they're willing to pay for excellent police service, and if they want to pay 36% more, like I said, it's their money, it's not our money, it's not that council's money, it's their money. If they want to spend that money, then it's up to us to go for it. But to be prudent and to do our job we were sent to do, as Councilman Porter suggests, we should look into this.
Since we're talking,
Having this.
since we're continuing to talk about it, do you mind if I take a few things? I'm not diminishing your call for a competitive bid. I think that's wise, that's prudent. But some things I'd like to point out, they're outside of just the monetary numbers, is that the Chagrin Valley Fire Department will continue to provide us with 4 or 5 firefighters on duty at the station 24 hours a day, 2 advanced life support ambulances, 2 fire engines. I don't know what Russell Township will be able to provide. Each year, Chagrin Valley Fire Department provides us approximately 301 emergency medical patients, 89 fire and service calls. And they provide those services annually for approximately $152.27 per capita. So my question is, outside of the dollars, what is your life worth? What is your spouse's life worth? What is your children's life worth? What is your neighbor's life worth? Yes, there are dollars and cents, but these are people's lives. And if my child's life is on the line, I want a fully staffed with the best equipment fire department. And until Russell Township can provide that, I don't care what the number is. I want to know that they can be competitive on the people, on the training, and on the equipment, and also the response time. So it's not just about the dollars. I understand we might have to bite the bullet and find money somewhere else, but there's more to it than just dollars. I just want to share that.
I agree with you 100%, Councilman, and also the training. And we want the best, without a doubt. I would hope that the trustees of Russell feel the same way about their own constituents, and that they make a point that their firefighters are excellent and they have the best equipment and the best training.
So I'm afraid it's not an apples to apples comparison. I don't know that yet. It could be.
I don't know either.
And to that point, Chris, I'd like to find out if it is apples to apples, what are their capabilities since 2013? And let's not forget, when the Lenin Estate was distributed, who got a big chunk of that money? That was Russell Township. And that's why they built that fire department that you see on 306. So in terms of equipment, training, I don't know, but I would like to find out. Maybe Chagrin's the best option, despite the cost. If so, so be it.
I would like to add one other thing, and this is, I don't think, out of my gag order, the requirements.
Can we see that?
The thing about it is that I hope that some of you may subscribe to the Maple Leaf. Okay, and if you read the Maple Leaf within the last, I think, edition, Russell Township is also building an extension or planning an extension to their fire department, adding dormitory space. Okay, engineering work is in place. The costs are unknown, but I would offer that we have just paid to have improvements within the Chagrin Valley Fire Department, and be advised that whatever happens with this contract, they may welcome us because we can help pay for the extension on their fire department. And that's all I have to say.
I believe they call this sausage making.
Okay, for those of you out there, we will be available on Sunday afternoon, October 5th, Fall Festivals from 1 to 5. The next council meeting is on Monday, October the 13th, 7 p.m. You can contact any of us through email. Mine is mayor@southrussell.com. Solicitor, it's your turn.
I have nothing to report.
Okay, questions of our solicitor? Street committee.
Street committee doesn't have a lot to report other than the minutes that were posted at the last meeting. Maybe our street commissioner has some more to say.
I don't have anything.
Dennis?
Nothing.
We will have the next street committee meeting on October 9th at 9 a.m. Thursday, October 9th, 9 a.m.
You won't, because you won't have a forum.
Councilman Galicki is gone
Yeah.
that day.
So you can't do that.
Okay, then we will reschedule. To be determined.
Questions of the street committee? Hearing none, we were at the building committee. Ruth, you still got, the floor.
Building committee also met on September 4th, and those minutes were new with this packet. If anybody has any questions, they can ask me. The only thing that I can think of that was very significant, the computer program is causing difficulty, and the administrative person Ruth is trying to work that out with getting it going, because I take it it's not so much the program, it's the way it's being introduced. The program itself is okay, so she was seeking some remedies to get a little bit better teaching. Dave Hosevar has done some amazing things. I think I mentioned them last time. He got a property that was long neglected, cleaned up on the east end of the village, and just going forward.
That was the mulch house? Is that the mulch house?
Mulch house.
Questions?
Mark, anything else that you wanted to add?
The next meeting?
Well, that's the same day, October 9th at 8 a.m., if that works for you.
It's fine by me.
Great. If you would put that one in, Danielle, and sunshine that one. Thank you.
Questions of the building committee?
Yes, I saw that with the salt barn, that we now need to go to planning commission and is it ARB?
We do.
Okay, so my understanding was that the contractor was prepared to break ground nigh on today.
And end of September.
Okay, so is there a new schedule? Is there an anticipation of completing the salt barn prior to the onset of winter?
I am hoping so. I was in anticipation that the engineer was going to be here tonight and answer some questions, so I don't have those answers.
I
I'd say
do, I spoke with Eric. Did you speak with Eric?
Yes.
So he mentioned that in fact, no, they were not going to start and commence at the end of this month. And that the building plans are being submitted to the building department in October.
Mhm.
In addition, they will be filling out the applications, I think, or asking perhaps you, Ruth, as the council member to help fill out the applications, but I think they're actually gonna get maybe some assistance from Dave as far as the plans and the zoning that has to be kind of filled out. But, so as I understand it, again, Eric was kind of adamant that it was not happening at the end of this month as far as any commencement, so.
That was, am I mistaken? Was that not the report?
No, you're not mistaken.
You're not mistaken.
You're not
Yeah.
mistaken.
That's what he informed me today.
Okay, so,
As I recall, Solicitor, planning commission's October 16th.
So it got moved from the 9th to the 16th, but keep in mind, I mean, I would assume if we had some sort of time constraints, the planning could have a special meeting if it really had to. You know, we've done that previously. And there is no subsequent approval that planning does. In other words, it's for development review. They usually I don't think actually in my 6 years that I've been here as solicitor, I've ever seen them table like an approval of development review unless there was more information that they needed. Assuming that they have all the information, they're going to make that decision that night. It doesn't get them referred to council for subsequent approval. They will have a decision on the 16th, let's say, if that's the only meeting. Same with ADR, as I understand it. Unless they need more information, they generally make their decisions that night. And I believe the next ADR is October, it's
Seventh.
Tuesday, right? That first, so that's the 7th. Yes.
There is a meeting that, on a Tuesday, October the 7th at 9 a.m. with Eric, contractor, building inspector, to plan out the salt dome process. Make sure we're all,
So at this point, we don't know for
Nothing.
sure if
Nothing.
they've given the plans to the building department.
not as this morning, no, nothing.
I mean, today's the 22nd, so the October 7th, October 16th timeline might work just fine.
That's the goal.
you know.
I think so, except that really to be on the planning commission, technically the cutoff date is this Wednesday. But I mean, again, as long as we're talking with the building department and trying to, I mean, oftentimes there are ways to extend the time, the cutoff date. But I just hope that someone is, letting them know that this is hopefully coming.
We don't know who that someone might be, but I think the mayor would be the logical choice.
Or the streets committee or the properties committee members,
Or a
Just let
planning
you know.
commission member other than the mayor.
that's fine, let's do that. Thank you, Mark.
I would be glad to do
I
that if the
appreciate
mayor
that.
has other things to do. Okay.
I'm going to be there. Anything else for the building committee, Ruth?
No.
Mark? No questions of the building committee? Chief, you're up.
Not a thing to report.
Questions of the chief? Chris, safety committee?
Safety, we met, the right page of my notes here, we met on September 18th. I don't believe minutes were in your package, those are forthcoming. Chief, I actually am going to ask you a question, so you're not done. Can you just give a brief staffing update so everyone's on board with where we are?
Yeah, so we're looking to backfill the open full-time position, and we're looking to do a promotional for a sergeant. We did get indications from one of our current sergeants that he's going to be retiring first quarter of the year, next year. So we're gonna pull some applications in, and I would suspect that at our next safety meeting, we would go into an executive session and do a couple interviews.
Excellent. Later on in the ordinances, there'll be something there for tree trimming, that's for the solar panels, and the
Correct.
crosswalks. And one last thing, the safety committee was given to look over the cybersecurity policy from Geogga.
Yes.
Reviewed, it's standard good. You just need to make a motion to say.
Well, I think we would do an ordinance.
Okay.
I believe that the requirement from the state in the revised code requires like some sort of ordinance and legislation. So my question though was, did you review the 16 or 14 page policy?
Yeah. that's-
Okay, because they just updated it
I
to a
was kind of hoping
69.
that I don't have to do the 16, no, okay.
No, but unfortunately, the 14-page policy is missing one of the most important parts. So that's why they updated it on the 69-page. So,
That's a lot of pages for one missing
Yes.
part.
Well, they actually included it in the 69 pages, so that version, that section that you reviewed is now in that 69
It's only
page.
50.
Not
right, yeah, so you get less than, yeah, you don't have the full 69. You do have time
Okay,
to actually
sweet.
adopt
Okay.
it, so
Okay.
I apologize.
It was fun.
There was a timing, I think, on when they had issued something and then that state law came out and they realized, oh my gosh.
I saw the email, the other document.
Okay.
This has to be something different, right? Please.
It's the same policy, unfortunately, that one we're gonna have to
Okay.
review. So, all
Further work to do.
right, thank you.
Our next meeting is scheduled for October 16th at 8 AM at the police department. I have nothing else pending other than Mr. Councilman Galicki.
nothing.
Nothing. That's
I
it.
have one question.
Sure.
Chief, the lieutenant position is still open
Yes,
and will it stay open for?
currently, yes.
certain-
We're gonna leave that, but we're gonna backfill that full-time position with another patrol officer for now. That's the plan.
Okay, questions of the safety committee? Hearing none, we're at the HR committee. Chris, you still got it.
All right, HR met on September 9th. The minutes were in your packet. One thing I wanted to bring up, there were some emails going around for this regarding the streets department. I do recall when I was on streets, that you're absolutely right. I believe informally that Tim, the previous Tim, did do like an hour and 15-hour quarter, same thing, hour and 15-hour quarter, for call-ins on weekends. The HR committee, I guess we would like the streets committee to provide official policy. Since there's no official policy, if that's going to be what we're going to do, then it needs to be in our handbook.
Okay.
Should they do that, or should that something you should write?
Well, I think they were gonna draft it. I can certainly review it.
All
So,
right,
but you want our input is what you're
Yes.
saying?
Yeah. Whatever the policy is, propose something so it can be official, so Tim doesn't have to answer
So
whatever the
let's
questions are.
talk about that this week and get it done, and then get back to you.
Yeah, the committee would be great. Next thing is Councilman Berger would like to come back to the village car policy, which he brought up initially in 2024. That was in your council package, so I cede the floor to you, Councilman Berger.
Okay, there was a suggestion that as a amendment to this document, that we have all of the village vehicles GPS so that they could be tracked wherever they are. That's the only one missing from the policy. But I'm wondering if there are other council members that have objections or concerns or questions about putting this policy into effect.
Are the police vehicles, does that include police vehicles?
Yes,
All the police vehicles have GPS.
correct.
They already do.
Right now, right?
Yes, all the police vehicles, the drone truck, and the 2 administrative vehicles all have GPS.
So does it cost a lot for, the only one left would be what, you guys?
So it's service trucks.
Service trucks, salt trucks, yeah.
So it equates to about $22 a month per unit. So for the entire fleet right now, we have 7 in the fleet right now. It's about $200 a month.
So it's not cost prohibitive?
No.
what advantage do we get out of this?
Well, in the event you get a complaint from, a resident, this vehicle was speeding down the road, or your plow truck's never got down my street, you can go back in time and take a look at the GPS and actually have dates and times and speeds. They provide other data points. You can actually set up a geofence, for around South Russell. It's been a good, tracking you can track mileage with it. It's a great program.
So it could be more protective of employees?
Yeah, it certainly.
Improper use.
It's certainly improper use, but, to deter complaints as well, to respond to complaints.
And so this is looking at making it policy for HR?
This would be included in the vehicle policy, which includes use of village vehicles, what is appropriate. It was suggested, or not suggested, it was the auditor initially said that we needed to have a policy.
Okay,
And so I wrote the first draft, and we didn't go anywhere with it, so I'm bringing it back.
Street Commissioner's got, you had,
I'm familiar with GPS vehicles on the service end of things. And we had, at previous employer, we had GPS on all of our trucks that had forward-facing cameras. And they actually were able to show us, we had an employee that was involved in an accident and was accused of one thing, and the camera and GPS cleared him back. Along with other times that people were not where they were supposed to be or moving where they were supposed to be.
would we also do the older car that is the multi-use?
They already are.
Those are done.
Those are
Those are
done.
So those are former police cars, the equipment just
Okay.
stayed in those
Alright.
vehicles.
Because the only reason I brought it up is that one goes out of the village when we go to county townships. Okay, yeah, okay.
It's fine. I think actually it's a great defensive
Mhm.
kind of thing for both police, streets, anybody.
I don't know if the system that you present or are saying is capable of the system that I was exposed to also did diagnostic for the vehicles and reported that as well.
So
If
like
there was an engine light or
Oh.
something wrong with the vehicle, it would flag the vehicle.
Yeah, you could, but the cost per month kind of increases substantially, so we figured we'd be better off just manually looking at the check engine light.
Okay,
You get to give it to Jeff, right?
What's that?
You give the vehicle to Jeff if there's an engine light or
Correct.
something, right?
Yeah, he'll diagnose.
You are kind of Jeff, so maybe. It might be worthwhile to know the cost of a diagnostic feature.
I know we did ours through Verizon, and I only use it and it was like $35 a truck. And the big trucks as well as the cars and pickups.
It might be useful, but, the tracking part is fine.
well, I'll leave it to the experts to provide the monetary costs. I will amend the policy and submit it in the next council packet for your review, and then we can decide to go forward or not. And that's all I have on that.
Thanks, Chris. I know you made some other revisions in the past, so it keeps getting fine tuned more and more. Appreciate your time on it.
Not a worry.
Our next HR meeting is on October the 7th at 7:30 in the morning for Ruth.
Oh, my Lord.
And other than that, I have nothing else to add unless you have something else, Chris.
No, you're good.
okay, questions of the HR committee? Yes, on the policy that's submitted, item 3, no village vehicle shall be used or operated for the purpose of transporting any village employee to and from work unless the operator of the vehicle has been pre-approved by the police chief. I think you should also say police chief or the street commissioner. There could be a time, I think, like, today they went off and one of the guys may have, could have used the car earlier or something. I just think that the street commissioner should have the authority that he has his vehicles.
Would you add the fiscal officer into that too, Mayor? All three department heads?
Are we diluting the policy here?
The way the policy works now is the chief keeps the tracking, so when I go into a conference, then I, let him know I need the car for these days and I block it off. And then he has the master schedule and says, okay, it's reserved for you. So if Tim King's I meeting, he'd say, she already has it reserved. So he's kind of in charge and it works well.
Because you're basically talking about domicile to duty.
Yes.
Right.
Yep, that's what the phrase, that's,
And quite frankly, there shouldn't be many opportunities in our village for anybody to have domicile to duty.
Correct. But I'm saying it has to be done. I think the street commissioner should have equal authority over his guys and his vehicles.
And I'm saying, I don't think we ought to dilute the policy. Let's not open a door for
So
abuse.
if, one of his guys needs it, and he determines he's gotta ask permission of the police chief, I think that's ridiculous. I think they're equal department heads, he should have equal authority.
I agree.
Why don't you amend it to, instead of
And just to make it simple for your guys working.
the department, that person's department head? So that would cover Daniel.
Danielle can do it too.
I think this is the same way we tried to dilute this policy the last time Councilman Berger introduced it, but
Yeah, I guess you treat them all equally.
so treat them all equal would indicate one individual that who
No.
keeps track.
If Tim has two guys working at X spot and maybe they go together or somehow.
That has nothing to do with taking the vehicle home.
That's the paragraph in question is all about taking the vehicle home,
Okay,
keeping it overnight, and driving it to work the
yeah,
next day.
okay, I missed it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, and that's why, if a vehicle was going to be taken off campus overnight, that's why I picked me, the police chief, as the keeper of the schedule for village vehicles. If we want to determine that it should be somebody else, that's fine.
If
I
this
just
only has to do-
arbitrarily did it.
If it only has to do with Fulton Hall
vehicles also, you're not taking a plow truck home at night, these
No.
are the admin
or a
vehicles.
police vehicle, yeah.
So we're all talking, basically the village cars.
Yeah.
Well, this way, the individual person is plugging that in,
Mhm.
rather than to someone.
And that's fine, okay,
And you can still maintain the master schedule.
okay. I will amend and reissue.
Any other questions of the HR committee? Properties committee?
Okay, Properties Committee met, minutes were in your packet. The next meeting, I'm suggesting October 16th at 9 a.m. And subject to any comments of Councilman Galicki. Okay,
Questions of the properties committee? Hearing none, we are at the parks committee.
okay, Parks Committee, two things. I have a motion to approve the revised date of October 1st, 2025, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. for the use of the South Russell Village Park by the Chagrin Falls Middle School cross-country team for a meet and to waive the required fee.
Second.
Discussion. I think this is because of the holiday. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Okay, the other issue is, at the last council meeting, there was a discussion of the Boy Scout project with the platform in the park and whether that should have required a building permit. I can tell you that the building inspector did go and review the project and suggested that a building permit was appropriate. So I will go ahead and handle filing for the permit. And then at the next council meeting, we can motion to approve what has already been done. And that's all I have to report.
Questions of the parks committee?
See you on October 5th.
We're at public utilities committee.
Thank you, Mayor. The Public Utilities Committee met and the minutes are in your packet. Next meeting I propose is October 17th, Jerry, at 3:15 p.m. That's convenient, let me know.
That date again, please,
October 17th.
at 3:15. Thank you.
Danielle, can you sunshine that? Yeah. Some of the highlights of the committee meeting was discussion of the Sugar Bush silt issue there. And the committee has heard from Sugar Bush, HOA leadership on a number of occasions. And it is the recommendation of the Public Utilities Committee that the village pay 80% of the amount the contractor chosen by competitive bid or quote, would pay 80% of the silt removal costs for the Sugar Bush. I think Tim's got a quote. Do we know whether or not it's still good?
I have contacted them.
Okay.
They were the original quote, so
Okay.
I'll contact them
Yeah.
and see if they'll hold true to that, which I would hope they would.
I would too. We're not asking for a vote at this point, but simply to forward the recommendation of Public Utilities to Village Council, and we will seek a vote on it at the next council meeting, so that would be a good time to know whether or not the quote that you obtained for $33,950 is still good. The leadership of the HOA indicated that they would be more than willing to enter into a license agreement with the village for the purposes of pond monitoring, so that after this project is done, the village would monitor the silt buildup within their pond for the purposes of stormwater control and mitigation. And as a side note, there were members from Paw Paw Lake also in attendance, and they indicated that they would also be willing, their HOA would be willing to enter into a license agreement with the village for the same purpose, for monitoring silt buildup in their silt pond, possibly in their lake as well. So if the solicitor would draft those two license agreements, one would go to Kyle Cantor, who is Sugar Bush. Ruth, who's the?
Claire Roush is the HOA president.
Would be the other one, would be, and you have her contact info?
I do, yeah.
You forward that to the solicitor?
Sure.
Mark, did the Sugar Bush HOA ever
Kyle
register, or did they reinstate their corporate status?
I am unsure, but
That was an issue, if you remember.
it was, and between the time, well, let me put it this way, I'll check with Kyle Cantor
Okay.
and see what he says. And if they haven't, then they need to, because they're like an HOA and they should be doing that. And then the same for Pawpaw's already involved in that. So with those two things, Public Utilities is also pleased to mention that we're going out to bid for the Hazelwood project that Danielle mentioned. And the bid opening is coming up, as she specified, on October 3rd. And we are hoping to get the Hazelwood project done.
Hemlock.
Hemlock? What am I doing? I'm still saying Hazelwood, Hemlock. Or Walter. Hemlock. The Hemlock project done before the end of the year. And then we would hopefully secure half of the Mount Dew after the grant is applied from Russell. And hopefully we'll be able to do that. And subject to any comments that Councilman Kenton might have, that's my report, Mayor.
I have none.
Thank you. Questions of the public utilities? We have the Chagrin River Watershed Partners proposal to update the village's stormwater codes. Do we have that on here?
Yes, I think it's,
$5,400.
yeah, we did talk about the proposal. We believe it's a good idea. This is so that our stormwater codes are up to date, and Chagrin River Watershed Partners will do it for the $5,400, unless the solicitor would want to volunteer her services at no cost to the village for that purpose.
I mean, this is updating the stormwater?
Yeah.
Right, okay. I mean, that's part of your codified ordinances, right? So,
Yes.
I mean, at no cost, I think that would be tough, but I'm happy to review it. So one other question though, I can't remember if there was an agreement from Sugar
There
River.
was.
There was.
Have you perhaps seen it?
I have, but I just cannot recall if there were any proposed revisions that we had or anything. And-
It's just to give them approval to go through and review it.
Right, and I want to say, because it was an agreement, I would have thought we would have had legislation on that, because again, it's terms and conditions, not just the monetary amount, that's why.
I didn't we didn't do the legislation because I wasn't sure
Okay.
if the council wanted to go forward with that before we had you draft legislation,
Okay.
if it was something they wanted to do. Or
Yep.
Do you need to do this by ordinance?
Yeah, because it's an agreement from Chagrin River Watershed Partners.
I will see them tomorrow. Let them know this is coming, but we have to do a little more paperwork. So we can do this on the
So
13th.
if we can do the ordinance.
You can do it right now.
For
We've got it ready.
$5,400.
I was guessing the 5,400. I thought that's what it was. It's been a
Maybe we
while.
should wait.
Yeah, we probably should wait on this then.
Questions of the Public Utilities Committee? All right, we're at ordinance and resolution. The first one, I guess we're going to call this a safety issue. Chris, can you read this one?
Introduce and consider for adoption an ordinance approving the proposal with terms and conditions from Falls Enterprises Inc. for tree pruning services in an amount not to exceed $1,375, authorizing the police chief to sign the proposal, declaring an emergency. Move to waive further readings.
Second.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Bell.
Aye.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Bell.
Aye.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Ordinance passes. This next ordinance involves our prosecutor.
I'll go ahead and do it, Mayor.
Thank you.
I'd like to introduce and consider for adoption an ordinance authorizing the mayor and fiscal officer of the village of South Russell to enter into a contract with Dennis and Coyne Esquire to provide chief prosecutor services for the time period January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2027, and declaring an emergency. Move to waive further readings.
Second roll call.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Bell.
Aye.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Bell.
Aye.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Ordinance passes. We're at the bills list.
Thank you, Mayor. Motion to ratify the bills of September 15th, 2025 in the amount of $137,045.40.
Second.
Second
Roll call,
discussion.
please.
Kavanaugh.
Roll call, okay.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Recused.
Porter.
Aye.
Bell.
Aye.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Motion passes. New other, Danielle.
Kavanaugh.
None.
Stuckey.
None.
Porter.
None.
Bell.
Yes, I'd like to ask for permission to be dismissed from the October 27th council meeting. That would be unavailable.
Motion to allow Councilman Bell to be absent from the October 27th council meeting. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Berger.
None.
Canton.
None.
All right, executive session.
Here's a motion to enter into executive session to consider the appointment of a public official pursuant to section 121.22G1 of the Ohio Revised Code and to invite into the executive session the mayor. Did you have everybody on here? We have mayor, fiscal, street commissioner, and solicitor. We need everybody? The mayor, the fiscal officer, the street commissioner, and the solicitor. So moved.
Second.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Bell.
Aye.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
All right, let's take a 7-minute break. We'll start executive